How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike the Pig Crumb. Mike, how are you?
That's strong. Oh, man, it's more tequila forward than whiskey forward. Jesus.
Mike started
whatever I am now, once I finish that, I'll be good then.
Yeah, you've been on a little bit of a drink tasting lately. What's been your favorite one so far?
Probably the Captain Hook. They're all Disney drinks, as you guys know. You can see behind me, I'm Disney crazy. So somebody sent me like 16 mixed drinks, and each of them are named after a Disney character. This is number 6. I've done Queen of Hearts, Captain Hook, Yzma, the Emperor's New Groove villain. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. I can't believe that. I love that movie. And I've done I did 2 other ones. The Queen of Hearts. I don't remember. I have them all marked down. What's up, Prescott?
Very, very cool. I'm jealous, man. I could use a drink myself.
I don't typically drink at home outside of Disneyland, but somebody was like, here, bring Disney to you. So now if you see behind me right there, I just have that whole shelf is just like, there's like 9 different types of liquor bottles up there. And then I have a couple that I made homemade in my fridge.
Homemade liquors or homemade drinks?
Homemade liquors. Strawberry gin. I infused some gin with strawberries. I infused some gin with with cherries. I made a cherry vodka, and I'm going to make a pomegranate vodka and a black grape vodka.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm not a big gin fan myself, but those don't sound too bad.
Gin's nasty. It is. It's good in drinks, but on its own.
Yes, sir. Well, Mike, before we get off onto a gin and alcohol tangent, where can we find you on not Twitter, sir?
At CD Piglet, letter C, letter D, Piglet. Nice and easy.
Of course, no show is complete without the best account manager in the world and conductor of the Jake Ferguson hype train, Mr. Brendan Fergie Smith. Brendan, how are you?
I was doing better when Mike had his pinky out when he was drinking.
I got my pinky out. Always out.
But I'm doing great.
Where can we find you on X, sir? Or excuse me, not Twitter.
You find me at Brendan_Smith26.
I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on not Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, guys, we are less than a week away from the end of the NFL season. Tonight, we'll talk about some bold comments made by CeeDee Lamb at the Pro Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday is 6 days away, so of course, we'll be talking about the big game for you guys. But before we talk about anything football related, we must discuss one thing and one thing only. Of course, I'm referring to Meatless Monday. Mike, what was on the menu today other than gin?
Today was a good day. I'm actually funny thing is I'm on my reset, so I'm not supposed to have alcohol, but what's up, Jordan? I am not doing it really liquid wise. I'm only doing it food wise because I've had coffee. I have somebody that brings me coffee, and I'm not going to turn down free coffee. And then I've been making my drinks, but food wise, I've been sticking to my reset of no flour, no caffeine, no sugar, no meat, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the drill if you've listened at all on this thing. So tonight we had grilled portobellos with olive oil mashed potatoes and a kale pesto. The kale pesto could go on shoes and it's amazing. And for breakfast, I had a mushroom and spinach omelet with oregano oil. And oregano oil is good too. It's not kale pesto good, but it's pretty good. So yeah, 2 good meals today.
Mike living up the chef title there lately on the Meatless Mondays.
It's good to not have to work and have time to prep and cook things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, well, let's get into it, guys. I mentioned that CeeDee Lamb made some bold comments during the Pro Bowl. Mike, I'm curious, what was CeeDee being honest about his comments about him and Dak?
Let's start with Brendan on this one.
All right. Well, Brendan, let me ask you, what do you think CeeDee was being honest about his comments about him and Dak, or would and should every player say and think that way?
I think it's more just being positive in general, because after that type of season, you're gonna always be positive with your quarterback, which you should always be honest with how you think about your players, no matter what. Unless you say think they're awful, then the media will run with it. aka what Stephon Diggs kind of does.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's just all around. It's whatever. That's what you should want after you have your best season of all time by any Cowboys receiver. So like you should just be positive. And yeah, he was just trying to have fun at the Pro Bowl. So I don't really take much with a grain of salt what he was saying.
Mike, what about you? Anything to add to that?
Okay, so he said something positive then. Then yeah, I think that's a good thing. Listen, I don't ever watch the Pro Bowl. When I read the show sheet, I was like, I have no idea what this is. And I was like, let's start with Brendan. He'll give me some clues as to what it is. And I know he said something positive. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say that that's good.
Well, no, he said that him and Dak were the best wide receiver quarterback duo in the NFL.
Also, I was going off his entire speech that's what I was going off of from your show sheet comment.
So
Gotcha.
we're about to talk about that with the next question. So I think that he believes that, and we'll discuss what we believe on the next question.
Well, Mike, perfect transition. Well, what do you think? Can you think of a better quarterback wide receiver tandem that's better, or can you think of a better quarterback wide receiver tandem?
Give me the quarterback wide receiver tandem that are both all pros. Are there any? Do you count Travis? Is Travis Kelce a wide receiver or a tight end?
Tight end.
Okay, then I mean it's got to be Dak Lamb. How could it not? You have Tyreek Hill, but you have Tua, so he's not an all-pro. You have Justin Jefferson, who's a badass, but you have Kirk Cousins, not an all-pro. I'm trying to go through other ones. I don't, Lamar Jackson, all-pro quarterback. Who's his wide receiver? Certainly not Odell. Zay Flowers, a rookie, so they're not up there. Hurts and AJ Brown, not after Hurts, like top of the league in turnovers this year. Was getting birded up by his tight end in a playoff elimination game. I don't know if I'd have that high, So yeah, I got to go with them. They're the only two that are both all pros: a quarterback all pro and a receiver all pro.
But okay, let's just shed the all pro title from this year. Like, what about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase? Would you say they're better?
I would say that I would take them. And it would be more because I think Chase and Lamb are about this both great, equally great. Yeah. I think Joe Burrow's better than Dak, although he's injury prone early in his career, and they're younger. Well, one is obviously Joe Burrow. So I would say that I would take. That would probably the one tandem that I would take over Dak and CeeDee Lamb. I love Chase. I think CeeDee Lamb's a better receiver, but Chase is like right there, where I think Dak is a really great quarterback, but I think Joe Burrow has a chance, if healthy, to be Mahomes tier. I don't think Dak could get to that level even at his best. I think Joe Burrow at his best could get to that level.
Brendan, what about you? Anything to add to that?
Well, as long as you're taking Kelce out of the situation, then it's easily Dak. I saw Prescott talking about Allen and Diggs. I don't think so, for the simple fact, if your connection is like this, like what we're talking about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, we're talking about Dak and CeeDee Lamb, you find ways to get the player the ball. I had Stephon Diggs in fantasy. He was my first overall pick. He didn't do jack squat in like half the games. But if the connection was so great, you got to find the ball. And they didn't. And then all you see is Stephon Diggs complaining. So,
and Allen's a turnover machine. Like, I know Dak had one bad year, but like Allen, that's Allen every year. Every year, Allen's the top of the league in turnovers. Like every year. And so, you have to. I get that this year, Dan Orlovsky can go through every pick and excuse everyone the same way we did with Dak last year. And that's fair. But every year you're up there, that's too far, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Dak. It's Dak and Lamb. It's there. That was pretty special this year.
Absolutely. Well, we know that Mike didn't watch the Pro Bowl. I assume he didn't watch any of the events. What about you, Brendan? Did you watch any of the Pro Bowl events or the game?
I watched highlights. That's not what I had stuff going on, so I wasn't preface the Pro Bowl over it. But it wasn't bad. CeeDee Lamb popped off, which is always fun to see. And the skills showdown was kind of fun.
Yeah,
But
I like how they have the
skill. What is the skills showdown? What is that?
they have like different games. Like the NFC won dodgeball. I remember CeeDee Lamb got crap. I completely forgot who he got out, but I remember he won that one.
They don't throw footballs at him, right?
No.
Oh,
it's dodgeball.
Dodgeballs.
It's dodgeball.
Okay, with the red dodgeball. Okay, good.
We find out that Mike has never played dodgeball in his life, guys. Crazy development here.
I used to be elite at dodgeball. I'm talking like would never get eliminated. I was great up until like the 8th grade.
They have this one event where it's like the sinners are trying to hit targets. That look kind of cool. I like how they're adding different events just to make it a little bit.
Are you talking about like the long snapper one?
Yeah, the long snapper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Kelce sucked.
Yeah, and I know that Jalen Hurts had a hard time, but it sounded like him and Baker Mayfield were competing for the victory or not the title, but seeing who was the best who was number one at that competition. Is that right?
Oh, you're talking about for the QB. Dude, the NFC bringing in those three for quarterbacks is. I know Dak declined it, so like that's all good. That's depressing. You bring in Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, and Jalen Hurts. And then we also had Gardner Minshew on the AFC side. Like, that is atrocious.
Yeah, I can't believe that C.J. Stroud didn't win that.
Dude, he looked good. Stroud looked good.
Yeah, no surprise there.
C.J. Stroud's a beast.
Man, yeah, we won't get into him, but he's a special player. Do you like the Pro Bowl being before the Super Bowl, Brendan?
I think, yeah, because, like, no one, like, for legit 95% of the league, like, they don't care. Like, their team's on it. It's like, oh, it's whatever. And so they'll watch whatever their favorite players. This will be our last time seeing CeeDee Lamb until August. We'll see like half of a Pro Bowl game or whatever total. So it's like that. I like it. It gives you like a little downtime since there already is like a bye week before the Super Bowl. But
I actually preferred it when it was after the Super Bowl, just because it kind of gave us that last little taste of football. You know, after the Super Bowl, now it's just all said and done. So I kind of looked forward to the Pro Bowl.
It's flag football though. Like it's if I see that after the Super Bowl, I'm like, I just saw two teams fight out to the death for the world championship, and then I just see, oh look, Stephon Diggs going deep. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Mike, are you excited for the Super Bowl?
Not really. I don't hate. I guess I don't like Niners because they're a rival, but I don't hate them because. Like a lot of my friends here in California are all Niner fans, and like they've waited so long to win a Super Bowl. I'm not going to root for them because I don't want them to get the 6th, but you know, I don't hate them, and I don't dislike. Like I like Patrick Mahomes. I like greatness like that. I turned against Brady because early on it was his defenses, and then there was all the cheating stuff. And I was kind of like, people are overblowing Brady. And then he became great. And I was like, damn, this guy is great. Like, it turned around. And I feel like Patrick Mahomes is just great. So I'll root for him to win. But I don't really care for this Super Bowl. I don't have anybody I'm rooting for like that. Like, if Cincinnati was there and it was Joe Burrow, I would be rooting for them to win, you know? But I'm not rooting for Kansas City. And I'm definitely not going to root for the Niners.
I got you. What about you, Brendan?
I don't care nearly as much. We're getting like a repeat of 2020, and all that. So it's whatever. As soon as Dallas lost, I'm a Baltimore fan because it's just I don't really care about any other team. I was like, if Baltimore wins, that's whatever. That's fine. But some Chiefs are boring because they're the new Patriots. So like it's whatever. They're always gonna be there. And then San Fran's fans don't deserve happiness, so I will always root against them. But
so it sounds like you're not necessarily looking forward to the game, but are you looking forward to commercials or the snacks for the Super Bowl?
Dude, snacks. You get pizza and wings, dude. Like it's gonna be great.
I'm sure Mike's gonna have a whole entire feast. He's gonna have to share a picture. Mike, what about you? Commercials or snacks?
Food is my number one, then commercials, then the game, then this year's halftime show doesn't really get me. Food definitely. Yeah. I typically make some kind of menu for the Super Bowl, so yeah, I love the food.
It's the halftime show. It's Usher and Taylor Swift. Is that right, or is it just Usher and?
It's Usher and somebody else, Usher. Right? I have no idea. I would assume Taylor Swift makes way too much money to do something free for the.
No, that's what I just remember. I got that confused because there was a big discussion about Taylor Swift. She's having a performance in Japan, and is she going to make it in time to be at the Super Bowl to root on Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs. So that my mind went to that for some reason.
I figure Little John will be there. Usher. They'll have the probably have Ludacris come out for that. That's their big
that one song. Yeah. Are you a fan of Usher and his music?
Huge fan of Usher. I just don't.
He's got some hits.
Yeah, I thought it was cool when it was Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. That was cool.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's the all-time GOAT halftime performance. I loved that. I'm not really Madonna. Was cool. Prince was cool, but for most of them, I'm not really into the halftime shows.
Brendan, what about you? Do you know any Usher songs? Are you a fan of Usher?
That's not my type of music.
no R&B for you, huh?
Not really. I'm a lot more rock.
I got you. So, Brendan, I'm curious, which team has the better storyline? Is it Kansas City and Mahomes, being in the Super Bowl again? And, of course, we know that he's been to, I guess it's 6 straight AFC title games. And Taylor Swift, of course, kind of taking over the Chiefs season this year. Or is it San Francisco and Brock Purdy?
It's not San Francisco. This is the easiest the NFC has ever been. Ever. That's why we were all saying, oh, this would be the best time the Dallas to get to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So, no. The biggest thing, the Chiefs barely made the playoffs. They did not look great going into the playoffs. And then it's oh, well, Mahomes has never won on the road in the playoffs because he never had to. He wins back-to-back games and wins the AFC Championship game. And he can win his third at age 28. Are you joking me? That's insane. It's got to be Chiefs.
Mike, anything to add to that one? I assume you agree.
Brendan nailed it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree there. I wouldn't mind, though. I don't know how, if any quarterback who was last picked in the draft or any player who was the last pick of the draft has ever made it to a Super Bowl or won a Super Bowl, but I kind of find that interesting.
San Francisco.
His team is so loaded.
All right, Mike, if Mahomes wins this game, will he be a top 3 quarterback of all time?
Yeah, I'd probably say yes. Brady, Montana, him. That'd probably be the 3.
That's what I was thinking too. How about you, Brendan?
I think if you picture what he's going to be towards the end of his career with the Super Bowl win, yes, but I still he is 28 with his 3rd Super Bowl win. That's awesome. I don't want to see his longevity because if anything, his career could be cut short. Hope knock on wood, not because we're watching the best we've ever seen. But no, he's easily has a chance of getting that. Easy.
It's crazy to think he could win. He could break Brady's Super Bowl record of 7. I mean, this guy could easily make 8, 9. I wouldn't be surprised. Imagine winning 10 Super Bowls.
His team's not even that good. The last 2 years, his team's not even that good, and they're winning.
I know, dude. It's ridiculous, man. It's insane, really, what he's doing. I've never seen a. Oh, I saw Brady, but Mahomes is even different than Brady in my eyes.
Yeah, because the first 3 for Brady were about his defense. They were about Belichick and him not messing it up and Adam Vinatieri. These are Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. That is what the key is to them winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine we learn tomorrow. Dallas trades away CeeDee Lamb, and we're all oh, this is bad. This is awful. And then Dallas makes a Super Bowl. That's what the Chiefs did last year. They traded away Tyreek Hill. Oh, no. Our deep threat. Everything's gone. And they won. They traded the best receiver in football, and they won the Super Bowl, and they're back in the bowl.
Yeah. Pretty insane. I don't know how you feel about Kelce, Brendan, but if Kelce wins another ring, will he be the best tight end of all time?
No. Gronk was dominant for as long as he was with that, so Gronk's up there. My brain wants to say Jason Witten just because I love him so much, but no. But Tony, no, but I know this is me being a homer, but Tony Gonzalez, God, was phenomenal. I got Ozzie Newsome back then with Kellen Winslow as well. He'll be up there probably top 3, top 5, but not number 1.
Mike, what about you? What do you think? If Kelce wins, is he the GOAT?
He tops Shannon Sharp, but I think a case would still be made for Gronk. It would be between those two for number one. It would be, I would listen to either argument. So they would be the 1A, 1B.
That's fair.
If he won this year, I think they'd be the top two.
I'm curious, where do you have Shannon Sharp on that list?
Third. I think he's one of the most underrated players of all time. He was there on his Super Bowl teams, like he was there, like there was Terrell Davis, and then the number one receiving weapon was Shannon Sharp, even above Rod Smith, McCaffrey. And then in the Ravens, he was their only receiving weapon. Like he was it. And he helped both teams could run the ball. He wasn't known as a blocker, but he had to do something right because those teams both led by running the ball and going to their tight end. And then defense obviously was their top thing. But like he's basically a championship Mark Andrews, you know, like he was not in a prolific offense, but he always seemed to be a big time player. So for me, I would have Gronk, Kelce, Gronk right now. Kelce's right there if they win, and then Shannon Sharp would be right after that. And then obviously the Tony Gonzalez would be after that, and then somewhere really close in that area would be Witten too. Gates.
You know, I didn't really get to watch a lot of Shannon Sharp play, but you know, I didn't know him personally. I didn't really know his personality, but when you hear about how he played football, it's kind of surprising to see his personality as like a media person. You know, he's superstar there as well.
Yeah, he is. I won't watch the other show he was on, and I don't much watch the one he's on now. But I have seen some Club Shay Shay. I watched the Cat Williams and stuff, and he seems like a really funny guy. And I've seen some clips. He seems pretty awesome at that job. And to be able to put up with the douchebag he was with for so long, like say what you will, I'm not a Stephen A. Smith fan, but the other piece of garbage will like call you names and like shit on you, call Chris Bosh a girl's name because he wasn't like elite of the elite when he was scoring 20 points and 10 rebounds every game. Like he was clearly an all-star, great player, one of the top players in the league, and you're calling him like he's a girl's name or like no, dude, you ain't that. You're like, I wish people would ignore him. That's the guy I wish would go away forever. I can deal with Stephen A. Smith. Because he gets out of pocket sometimes with his laughing at players and stuff like that. But like, he's never called somebody out their name like that. That's too much. Like the stuff he did that piece of trash did to Troy Aikman to set him up to like say he was gay.
Spread that rumor. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I don't care if he was, you know, he could be, that's great. But it's not somebody's point to like set up that story and then you source it yourself, like it's a real thing that you didn't just fucking make up. Like that guy's a trash bag. I wish he was off the air completely. And there's a reason that he's stuck on Fox, and that's the only thing he can get on.
Yeah, just talking about Chris Bosh, man, his days with the Toronto were nasty, dude. He was nasty, man.
It was great. And then he went to Miami and had to relegate himself from a number one all-star player to a number 3 and did a lot did a lot for that team. And like to call him like a girl's name and stuff like no, dude, that ain't part of it. That's not part of the job.
I've never heard that story, but I'm glad that I didn't.
Yeah, me, dude. When I heard that's about when I said I barely watched, but at that point is the time when I blocked. Was like I'm just not paying attention to no clips, nothing.
Yeah. So on the other sideline, of course, is Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. Mike, how much does Shanahan need to win for his legacy? Need to win this game?
Everything is right now. He's that like elite, like. He might be like Peyton Manning before he won. Like he's that great. And he just, and it's not just that he doesn't win, but like he gags it away. Like typically it's because of his part. It's like they lose due to him more than anything else. And so that is, that's a big issue. He needs to win.
What do you think, Brendan?
Well, we talk about how elite he is, but then the 28-3. I know that everyone talks about it forever and ever, and they should, because that's a historic collapse that we'll probably never see again. But like, you can't get over the hump. It's kind of like, well, first off, Dan Marino's is the best player of all time to never win a Super Bowl. You're kind of just like in that tier of coaching. Like, you're a phenomenal coach. Your coaching tree has been insane. You brought every team you've had to the Super Bowl. Well, not everything, but to like the playoffs and all that. So like, you've had that, and you can't do anything. You haven't got over the hump. I don't want him to win, but he needs it bad. And also, if he can beat Andy Reid and Mahomes in the Super Bowl, that's also pretty nice to put on your little record book.
Yeah, it's crazy because like if Dan Marino won one Super Bowl, he'd be talked about in the top 3. He was probably the best thrower of the football ever, but he never got the win. And I feel like Shanahan's the same way. Like, Shanahan might be better than Andy Reid as like a setup, but he can never get. He reminds me of Andy Reid in Philly, where he couldn't get over that hump.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think a lot of people forget about Andy Reid in Philly, and he went to like 4 straight NFC title games with Donovan McNabb, but never really got the respect there. When you look at records and appearances, Brendan, do those mean anything to you, or is it just all about wins?
It's all about winning. Like, if Dallas went to the bowl and lost, I'd just be heartbroken. Like, oh, you went there. That doesn't get you anything. You get the NFC Championship trophy. Like, good for you, but then you just got a worse draft pick, and you don't get anything to show for it. Like, it's all about wins. I don't want pick 31. No one cares about, like, haha, you lost, and that's all that happens.
Don't even care about the NFC title, huh?
No, not really.
Fair. What about you, Mike? Do appearances and records mean anything to you, or is it all about wins as well?
No, overall, it's all about wins. Because right now, I could tell you we won 5 Super Bowls, but I can't. I know we're one of the highest NFC Championship winners, but I couldn't tell you how many because nobody cares. Right. I like this year, if we played San Francisco in the NFC title and lost, I would be happy like we did. We got to our max. We went up another game. We improved. And for that season, I'd be like, all right, another step forward. But overall, it's who cares? If you didn't win it, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, a lot of people think about those Bills teams, and, of course, all they can think about is going to the Super Bowl 4 times, but they have nothing to show for it. So, yeah, I'd have to agree with you guys. You've talked a lot about the San Francisco on this podcast this year. Talked about how they're a loaded team. Are they the better team, Mike?
By a massive amount, by a gigantic amount. They are clearly superior roster. Like it wouldn't even be fair on Madden. Because you can't factor in Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes enough on Madden to make up the difference of how much better the Chiefs' defense has been better all year, and the Niners still have a way better defense. Like, there's no Warner, there's Greenlaw and Bolton maybe are similar, but there's no Warner. The Chiefs, Chris Jones, the Niners probably have better defensive tackles. Now, Chiefs have the best one. But Niners have like a rotation of 3, and they have a Nick Bosa. They have Ward, like they're loaded, and that's just the defense. Let alone Debo, Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle. Like they're not even in the same realm roster wise. Just one of them has a last pick of the draft quarterback, and one of them has maybe the greatest of all time. Like that's why. And Andy Reid is Shanahan plus great in the playoffs and Super Bowl.
Brendan, if the 49ers had Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, how many Super Bowls would they win?
Oh, sweet Lord.
Not fair. Let me just say that out loud.
We're talking about, like, where we're talking like we don't want them to get their 6, like we're tied. Brother, that conversation would have happened like what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Oh gosh. That many all-pros for Mahomes to throw to. Oh, sweet God.
That'd be an insane duo, man. Kyle Shanahan and Patrick Mahomes, dude.
With McCaffrey at running back, Kittle.
Obviously with that roster, but my goodness, man. That'd be nasty.
Their defense this year is like a regular Niners defense. Like not even an elite one. They're just like what Niners are on a regular year. Like, and look at what Mahomes is doing with no weapons, no great offensive line, like nothing. You give them that defense every year, plus like 2, 3, 4 amazing receiving weapons and Christian McCaffrey. Like it would be unfair. It would be better than Golden State Warriors when they got Durant, like way better.
I'm surprised you're so down on the Kansas City defense. They've got some guys, man.
No, they're that's what I'm saying. Like, they're great this year. Their defense is great this year, but it's like a basic Niners defense. Like what Chiefs are this year, Niners are every year defensively.
Yeah.
Like that's what they do. Chiefs are normally great offensively, but you could score 30 on them any game. Now this year, they're like a Niners defense. Well, imagine if he just regularly had that. This year's Kansas City or better consistently and 5 or 6 better weapons on offense.
Yeah. Well, we can't talk about Mahomes without, of course, talking about Andy Reid. With another Super Bowl victory, where would he put him on the all-time coaching list, Mike?
He'd probably be just outside the top 3. I think Belichick, Walsh, Lombardi are your top 3, and he would kind of jump up over the Bill Parcells, the what was the other one I was thinking? There was another one, and now I didn't write it down because I was like, oh, I'll remember that. And now I can't remember it. But he would be in that 4th range, right in there. I think he would jump that. I think he would jump to the top of the 2nd tier, or he'd be bottom of the 1st tier.
He would leap over Belichick. That's interesting. What about you, Brendan?
No, not Belichick. Parcells.
Parcells. Okay, I'm sorry.
Belichick's one.
I'm about to say, like,
gotcha.
I'm about to say,
well, I thought you said Belichick, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
No, Belichick, Lombardi, and Walsh are tier 1.
Gotcha. I don't know why I thought you said that.
Okay, yeah, I would have like a huge timeout here. Like Andy Reid's been phenomenal, but don't. No, I have to agree with Mike. That's 4 range sounds right. Because mainly he couldn't win at all before Mahomes, and now they're dominating. You got to think you're talking about McNabb, and then you're talking about Alex Smith. We're doing something here, but you end up losing. And then here comes Mahomes, and it's just like God tier football.
Yeah, those Super Bowls really do make a difference for your legacy, man. They really do.
Easy.
Because I mean, you go into 4 straight NFC title games with Donovan McNabb, who's a good quarterback, but that's like nothing to sneeze at in my eyes.
Just imagine if Jimmy would have stayed. If Jimmy and Jerry didn't battle, God, they'd have probably won 6, and they'd have probably been a Tampa Bay level dynasty in those 90s.
You mean New England? You mean New England, or?
Yeah, the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady dynasty. What did I say?
You said Tampa.
What? Oh, Brady. I forgot. Brady went to Tampa Bay. Sorry.
No worries. I was confused. That's the alcohol kicking in for sure.
Yeah, it had to be. It has to be that.
Yeah, yikes.
Brendan, I don't know where you stand on running backs, but of course Christian McCaffrey is easily the best one in the league. Is he a Super Bowl win away from being a first ballot Hall of Famer, or is he already there?
I don't think he's at Hall of Fame yet. I gotta see longevity. Like whatever he's playing, he's one of the best running backs we've ever seen in NFL. Like Marshall Faulk, but people are already trying to compare him to like Emmett and stuff. Like, bro, Emmett played for a long time. Like, you gotta wait. But talent-wise, I would say yes, but I need to see more longevity and just have a healthier career.
Mike, what about you? I know you're not a big fan of running backs per se.
First ballot, I think would be tough, but it would, if he wins a Super Bowl, I would guarantee his Hall of Fame, because he was one of those thousand guys. He was a big stat guy. He did a lot. So if he won a Super Bowl, it would cement him, I think, for the Hall of Fame. But I think Brendan's right. If it's going to be first ballot, he needs, say 2 more years of big production and then playoff success. He doesn't have to win the Super Bowl, but just doing stuff, the big moments in a big game type of thing. But I think a Super Bowl win would he's a Hall of Famer. He's done. He has the stats. Now he's won the Super Bowl. He'll be like a Terrell Davis type. And then if he gets the longevity, then he can battle for that first ballot.
What if he wins Super Bowl and also the Super Bowl MVP? Would that make a big enough difference?
I don't think he'd be first ballot yet. Like, he retired afterwards. Like, after he won it, he retired. I don't know if he'd be first ballot. But he would. He's definitely winning. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Brendan, you mentioned the path to the Super Bowl this year was the easiest that it's been in a long time. Will this be Brock Purdy's first and last Super Bowl appearance, you think?
No, San Fran's they are consistently dominant. Will this be his best chance to win? Other than facing Mahomes? Most likely. Because you have Green Bay coming up. Hopefully we'll do something, but I have no idea.
Don't put us in there.
No, I said hopefully. That's why I said that's the biggest word here. But you have Green Bay coming up. You have Detroit. You have all these other teams. So easiest for him to win, yeah, but no. As long as he stays with San Fran, he'll go to another.
Yeah, they were saying that if he wins this game, that he'll be, signing a pretty big money contract. I'm not sure what you guys think about that, but
I mean, he's done what you wanted, but I still don't think that much of him because all the weapons and him having Shanahan.
Would you sign Brock Purdy to a big money contract if you won the Super Bowl, Mike, or would you just let him go and try to, draft another guy?
Kyle Shanahan's already shown he can make it with quarterbacks like Jimmy G. So I would trade him, get draft assets, and then work to your next guy. Unless Kyle Shanahan came to me and was like, "No, this guy's different. Like he's legit. It's not me, it's him." Then I'd be like, "Oh, okay. Maybe I'll consider." But there's just so many there's so many times it's like, damn, he got lucky. That wasn't I feel like he's lost games on throws and the defense just hadn't took advantage of it too many times to where I'm like, oh, this dude's the guy. They could have easily lost to Detroit if Detroit, came up with the plays that Purdy allowed them to have.
Yeah. Would you rather have Brock Purdy or Russell Wilson?
Brock Purdy. Russell Wilson's washed.
Brandon, what about you?
It's Brock Purdy. I've talked to
just for leadership and locker room guy alone, Brock Purdy, because players like Brock Purdy. At least his teammates like him. No teammates rarely have anything nice to say about Russell Wilson. So yeah, I'm with you guys there. Mike, I know you said you won't be actively rooting for anybody. How about you, Mike? Brendan, will you be actively rooting for the Chiefs, or are you just hoping for a good game?
I will. In a perfect world, they both lose somehow, but no, but not
tie.
Tie in the Super Bowl. But no, I'll root for the Chiefs because I just really don't want San Fran to win.
Me too. I will root for the Chiefs.
I got you. I thought you said you weren't rooting for the Chiefs. You just because
I can't root for the Niners because they're going to get their sixth. I don't care if Niners won. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'd be like, oh, at least my friend Muhammad and Maud and Mikey and them got to see a Super Bowl, so that's cool. But I will root for the Chiefs. I don't want Niners getting the sixth ahead of us.
Okay, that's fair. Who will win this game, Brendan?
Chiefs. I think the Mahomes Andy Reid duo, that's just too dominant in the playoffs. I mean, we've seen it. They came in barely just crawling into the playoffs, and now they're just dominant again.
Yeah, Mike, how about you?
At some point, the team has to matter, right? At some point, the Kansas City is going to face somebody that's just look, Mahomes is great, but we just can't match what this other team just has. Too much more talent. Maybe I'm absolutely nuts picking against Patrick Mahomes. I'm probably an idiot. They're probably just going to win by 20 points. But
oh, wow.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
I just think that San Francisco's their team's is so much better. You would think their defense isn't crap. They should be able to get some stops. And I don't see why the Niners offense with so many weapons can't score 27 points.
Purdy.
I don't know. Maybe I'm underrating Kansas City's defense too. So I don't know. This is a coin flip game. I'm going to pick the Niners because their team is so much better.
If you were still a gambler, would you be betting anything on this game?
Hell no. No way. Depending on, if they gave me really good odds one way or the other, if they give me a ton of odds to bet Patrick Mahomes, then it's well, yeah, it's worth the bet. Look at the odds I'm getting. Of course, or if they were it's Patrick Mahomes, no way Niners win. I'm going to give you great odds on the Niners. I'm well, Niners team is so good. I'll just drop if I'm going to get those odds. But at the odds that they'll probably be at, because this is a very 50-50 Super Bowl, I'm not going near this one.
All right, over under 50 point total, Mike.
Under. Both defenses are very good.
What about you, Brandon? You think the point total will be 50 when it's all said and done?
No, I say under.
Interesting. I don't know. Two really good defenses, two really good offenses, and we know that in the Super Bowl, man, the refs don't like to slow the game down. They don't make as many calls, so I think it's going to be a high scoring affair.
Could be. Andy Reid's amazing off a bye week, so that is the one thing I hate picking against Andy Reid off a bye week.
Yeah. All right, Mike, here we are with your views from the sidelines. We got a couple of questions tonight. And, of course, we know that the Cowboys lose Dan Quinn and Joe Witt. How will Dallas's defense change schematically with the losses of Quinn and Witt?
The problem is I don't know the coordinator. So I'm not sure. Like, they could still, like, surprise us all and hire Al Harris. And then I don't know what would change because he's never schemed up a defense. I know that if you bring in a Rivera, they're probably going to get bigger in their front seven. If you bring in a Zimmerman, they will probably play more at the line of scrimmage. But unless I know the DC, I don't know the changes that will come. They'll probably – I would be surprised if they played as many safeties regularly, like constantly, and I would be surprised if they played as much nickel. Constant.
I got you. Well, we know that the Cowboys have been linked to both Ron Rivera and Mike Zimmer. What would you like and dislike about Ron Rivera being the new DC, Mike?
Rivera, I would like his emphasis on the front seven and run stopping. He puts a big emphasis on linebacker play and on defensive tackles, which we do not. So that would be a positive because our other elements are so good. Our corners are so good. Our safeties are very deep, and there should be no reason that Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Wanye Thomas, Marquise Bell, possibly Israel Mukuamu, like they should have a good rotation of safeties. Their corners are beasts. Their top two are all pros, and they have great pass rushers in Tank and Micah. So if you got a guy that was like, hey, you got to beef up D tackle and linebacker, that would bring our defense overall to be beasts. As far as dislike, he just hadn't been around. Like the last time he was defensive coordinator, I think it was 14 years ago. Does he know, how to stop modern offenses? This ain't the same anymore. You can't just put 8 in the box to stop the run. Like teams will pass all over you. So I haven't seen that enough. He's been a head coach so long. I haven't seen what his changes would be to his to match the modern offense.
All right, and what would you like and dislike about Mike Zimmer being the new DC?
I would really like Zimmer. I like his temperament. I have some of his stuff here. I like he puts importance on run defense as well. He's very good versus Shanahan offenses. He's a top 10 efficiency versus Shanahan offenses. He adjusts his schemes yearly. So in his time off, he will adjust to what offenses are doing. And I think his scheme fits the personnel. They have Overshown, Clark, and Parsons could all play the mug double gaps, which is nice. Donovan Wilson fits that up, playing at the in the box safety and the ability to blitz safety. If they bring back Jordan Lewis, he would work as a nickel guy that blitzes. So I like the way the personnel fits with Zimmer. As far as dislikes, I don't have many. He's just always been a guy that's been a good defensive guy. Even as a head coach, he's adjusted. He's changed. He's won Super Bowls as Quinn had back in the 90s. It was never really a defensive problem in Minnesota. So I don't have issues with Zim. I think he'd be a good hire. And I think Ron Rivera could be a good hire depending on, what they do in free agency. I think Zimmer right now with his personnel would be a good hire.
Of course, obviously you like Zimmer more, but would you be excited about either one of these hires? I mean, would you be excited to see Rivera in here?
Not excited, but I think a lot of people would dump on it because it's easy to dump on it. And I think Ron Rivera would be fine. He's not being a head coach anymore. He's being a DC. Would he be elite? No, but I think he could give you what Dan Quinn did. He would be that level, a good, competent defensive coordinator. I think Zimmer could be really good. I would be pretty excited about Zimmer. I've always been a Zimmer guy. I wanted Zimmer to be our head coach. Like I'm a big fan of Zimmer. Back in the day. This is back Dave Campo days. I was mad that they picked Campo and Wade Phillips and let Zimmer get away. You know, I like Zimmer. I think he's a damn good coach.
So, Brendan, forgive me for not having a Brendan's bashing this week, man. I couldn't think of anything, dude. So I do apologize for not having that on the sheet.
You're good.
Brendan, true or false? I won't be mad if Brock Purdy wins.
You say I won't be mad?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's false. That's false.
Just because he's a Niner, obviously.
Yeah, all the people just say, "Oh, he's so great." I'm like, is he? He hasn't proven anything to me.
That's fair, Mike.
False.
True or false?
Six titles, man. I don't want them getting 6, so I'd be upset. Nothing against him, like not personally to him, but I don't want them winning.
See, that's where I messed up, because when I wrote this question, like the way I answered is just thinking about Brock Purdy winning one, and that doesn't bother me. But yeah, seeing the Niners, have all the glory, that would annoy the crap out of me. So I went true. If Brock Purdy wins, I won't be annoyed, but I didn't think about him being a Niner somehow, some way. So yeah, y'all can leave the show. Y'all can ban me from the show if you want for having true there. One word. One word, Mike. Getting to see Patriots dynasty and now the Chiefs dynasty is blank.
Irritating.
Yeah.
Because, it just, you see how they do it. And like most of the teams that win, we just don't follow that formula, and it's such a bummer. And it's a bummer for Tony Romo and Dak, because even Jerry said, we'll go as far as Dak takes us. Well, yeah, because you don't want the blame on you. You're the person that's been losing for 30 years. So yeah, of course you're going to put it on your quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. It all goes to the quarterback because that's what media does. Then that gets to Twitter, and that's what Twitter does. Right. So, yeah, I'm irritated because this team, the way they draft and the way they hit on quarterbacks that were cheap and young at the time, they should have won multiple titles in this time, but their GM was bad. And so he didn't do what you had to do in free agency like other teams did. And so, yeah, it'd be irritating to see that.
Brendan, what about you? Getting to see Patriots dynasty and now the Chiefs dynasty is blank.
I put boring. That's my first.
Okay, that's good.
Well, yeah, the reason why I say it's boring is because first off, it's not us, so we're not being able to all the happiness and all that. But it's this besides their teams are being built great, it's the same formula. Oh, we have a generational / best coach of all time, and then you just find the best arguable quarterback of all time. The Patriots had, of course, Tom and Bill Belichick, which everyone could argue are they the best of all time at each position. And then now we're doing the same thing with Andy Reid and then Patrick Mahomes. You can have great players, but this, it just goes to show how much coaching matters. That's why I've been pleading for a year and a half on Twitter.
Fair. For me, yeah, Mike, you took the words out of my mouth. I was trying to think of one, but it's pretty simple. It is irritating. We'll look back and we'll say, man, it was, we won't ever get to see players like that probably again, runs like that for teams, thinking about the Patriots and Chiefs. But so, just to be part of it, to witness it is kind of cool. But at the end of the day, it is irritating because it's not the Cowboys, man. And it could, the Cowboys should have, Romo should have at least one ring. You could argue that Dak should have at least one ring. When you put it that way, it makes it even more irritating.
Yep, agreed.
All right, so the world was kind of taken by storm with the loss of one of the greater characters. You might know him from Mandalorian. Of course, everybody knows him from Rocky. And where I know him from personally is Happy Gilmore. The late great Carl Weathers is no longer with us. So tonight we will dedicate our top 5 to our favorite fictional sports characters, and we can pick a character from a movie, a TV show, a video game, a book. Mike, start us off with number 5.
Just like to say, the only reason Apollo Creed did not make my list is I had 17 people for this top 5. It was hard.
I can't believe that, man. I'd like to see all those names.
Dude, I had people that didn't make it were Nigel Gruff from Replacements, Gordon Bombay, Shooter McGavin, Willie Mays Hayes, Rick Wild Thing Vaughn did not make it.
He didn't make it?
He didn't make it because this is why. I'm going to tell you why. The only way I could do it is I couldn't have 2 people from one movie. So I had to say, if I took one person from a movie, that was that character for that movie. And even if you thought Rick Vaughn should go over your other person, Rick Vaughn probably would have gone over my 5th person. but I wasn't going to have two people from a movie. And that's why Apollo Creed doesn't make it, because as you can imagine, somebody else is going to be in my top 5.
Gotcha.
Number 5 for me is Billy Hoyle, which eliminated Sidney Dean, and both were great. Only one of them got to sleep with Rosie Perez.
Such a good one, dude.
So, and of course, he reminded me of me, because when I played, I was the big goofy white guy and nobody took me seriously. And then I would dime a behind the pack pass. That pass that he throws for the winner, where he that was one of my passes. Like, it was such a perfect pass. And I was like, that's me. That's my pass. And so, I love Billy Hoyle. So he made it over Sidney Dean for that reason. He's great, man. He hustled everybody. He was awesome.
White Men Can't Jump, one of the greatest sports movies of all time. Brendan, number 5 on your list, sir.
The original.
I made jokes earlier before the podcast. This should all just be, Adam Sandler. But I had to put number 5, Happy Gilmore. And I put Ann Chubbs because that coaching was phenomenal. But pinpoint lines, him getting so pissed off doing putt-putt, I've been there, wanting to break something when he punches the nose off the clown. It's phenomenal. Him sending the ball to the moon every time, that also is rage. Who's the old guy he fought?
Bob Barker.
Yeah, Bob Barker, yeah.
Price is wrong, bitch.
That was so it's just so iconic. That was one of the earliest movies I watched as a kid. It's so great.
Yeah, so great one there, Brendan. He almost made my list as well, but number 5 on my list, got to go with Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro. Part owner, part player, full lunatic. Such a fantastic movie, but his character in that is so great. All the characters in that movie are just so great.
It is. It's great. That's great. That was, that we were, me and my friend Muhammad were at the filming of that. We're not seen on camera, but we're in the movie, in the crowd for Semi-Pro.
That's really freaking cool.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. But the only problem is we got to see the ending of the movie. We were into the ending that we literally saw them film the ending of the movie. We're like, this is cool, but it kind of sucks because we just saw what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, that does kind of suck. Number 4 on my list, Benny the Jet Rodriguez from The Sandlot. The guy beats the beast. He has the cool shoes. He's the best player on the field. Nice guy. I love The Sandlot, man. I remember when I got to watch that with my little sister for her first time, and I'm like, this is like a big bro moment for me. And she really liked the movie too, so it made it that much more cool. But yeah, Benny the Jet Rodriguez, man. Iconic character. Number 4 on your list.
What makes this one so tough is we're going to have so many different in our 5. We could have 15 different people legitimately.
Yeah. Matt with a awesome line from Semi-Pro. Woody Harrelson's so good in that movie too, dude.
He is.
All right, Brendan, sorry, number 4 on your list.
I put Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights.
Wait, did you do your
first
4?
Your last? Yeah, I did.
Paul,
Benny
did
the
you
Jet
do
Rodriguez.
your 4?
Yeah, Benny the Jet Rodriguez, The Sandlot.
What was 5?
Jackie Moon, Semi-Pro.
Oh.
Yeah, you good over there?
That's the
I
tequila,
don't know how.
baby.
I don't know. I only had the one drink. I have like 15 of those. I don't know what the hell that's about.
I guess after 4 years, you probably tuned me out by now most of the time, Mike.
No, you know what? I started talking about myself being in the movie and forgot about it. I was like, I'm a big shot. I was in the movie until I forgot like a jackass.
Ricky Bobby, such a good one, man. I remember seeing that movie in theaters and how unbelievably funny that movie was.
Now, was it Ricky
stupid.
Bobby or Kyle Norton?
No, it's Ricky Bobby.
Okay, yeah.
It's Ricky. He's screaming that he's on fire.
Don't let don't let the invisible fire burn my friend. I like that too.
Help me, Tom Cruise.
So good, dude. Oh God! All right, Mike, number 4 on your list.
Number 4 on my list. All right, let's see if you guys know who this is. Harry Doyle.
Harry Doyle.
Man,
the name Doyle rings a bell, but
it is
Harry
Bob
Doyle.
Uecker's character, the announcer in Major League. I had to pick one character from that movie, and by far, he is the star of that. I love Wild Thing Vaughn. I love Pedro Serrano. I love Willie Mays Hayes. I love Tom Berenger's character, Jake, the the catcher. But Harry Doyle he makes the movie. His announcing from when they're trash and he's drinking through the whole thing all the way through to where they win, and then in the second one where he comes out and he's ready for a World Series and they go to the shit and he's back in the he is the absolute star of that movie. I love him in that. He's amazing.
I'll have to watch The Big League, man. I haven't seen that in so long, so that character doesn't ring a bell, but I do remember the other characters. So yeah, I'll have to watch that, man. I do remember that being pretty funny. Mike, number 3 on your list.
Number 3 on my list. Let's see if you guys know this one. Jimmy Dugan.
Man, again, that name rings a bell, but no, I can't.
All right, here I'll give you the hint. I especially like that move in the 7th inning where you scratched your balls for an hour. A League of Their Own. Tom Hanks.
Oh, Tom Hanks. Yeah.
He is brilliant. From the minute you see him come in to take a piss for like 5 minutes, all the way, he doesn't try. He's awful. And then he ends up, he's a great manager once he like wakes up and realizes, it's worth doing the job. But he doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to manage girls because he's an old school, player. And everybody knows there's no crying in baseball. Like he's one of my all-time favorite characters in movies, period.
I'm sure a lot of people don't even think about Tom Hanks being in that movie.
Yeah, I know. And I at first thought Gina Davis, but then when I went over it, I was going through, I was like, no, Jimmy Dugan's the better character. And like, he's so good. Oh, I love that movie. All right.
Mike, number 3 on your list, sir.
Oh, look at who's drinking.
Oh, nope. Sorry, Brendan, number 3 on your list, sir. All that water, man.
Am I the only sober one here? What's going on here?
You better be. Totally you better be, youngster.
No, mine's Bobby Boucher. Easy.
Ah, the water boy.
Like, how? First off, like, I play linebacker, so I seeing him bulldoze people. It was just so funny. You hear her scream and then just the biggest dude on his ass. And it's perfect. Also,
Mike,
another Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I couldn't put him on mine because of the whole Parsons wearing it and then we lost and everything. So I just tried to block him out.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Mike, you'll appreciate this one. Number 3 on my list. Frank Dukes, Bloodsport.
Yes. Oh my God. He should have been in my top 5.
I was surprised. I'm like, I think Mike might actually have this guy up there, but
Frank Dukes should have been in my top 5. That's like that. Jean-Claude Van Damme's like that's my guy right there. Ain't nobody putting radio. If we're doing Cuba Gooding Jr., we're gonna put Jerry Maguire. Obviously.
Dude, every time I think of radio, I immediately think of Tropic Thunder and never going full R word.
Yes,
how can you not?
Can't say it now, but yeah, that was one of the funniest. Dude, if we're doing Cuba Gooding Jr., it's going to be Jerry Maguire, dude.
Oh,
show me the money.
Yeah.
All
right, number 2 on my list, Daniel LaRusso, a.k.a. the Karate Kid.
He was in my top 10.
I mean, if you watch that movie, you try doing that crane kick, whatever you want to call it, for months, probably years, practicing that with your friends. Iconic movie, iconic character.
If you watch Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence becomes your favorite.
Yeah,
Johnny Lawrence is just a terrible human being. It's so great.
He's so funny. Brendan, number 2 on your list, sir.
Actually, you said this earlier, but I just had to hire my list because it was my actual childhood. It's Benny the Jet Rodriguez from Sandlot.
Hey,
I watched Sandlot so much as a kid.
So much.
My mom had a DVD player. One of the only things I watched other than Star Wars. But to see him just nail the crap out of the ball over the fence, and then of course him getting away from the beast, aka the dog.
That's just put on the PF flyers, sir.
I don't know how you do that. I would fall face flat and just give him running those shoes. No, that thing was crazy.
That chase scene with him and the Beast, dude, is iconic, bro.
Are we about to all have the same number 1? I think we're all about to have the same number 1.
The funny thing is right now the Jets got to be the number 1 overall because it's the only one we've doubled up on. You guys both have them. Everything else, we're all different.
I think number 1's about to be all the same, though. I got a pretty strong feeling.
I don't think so. Mike, number 2 on your list.
Number 2 on my list, you guys, it's funny because you guys you didn't know my other 2. You're definitely not going to know this one. Do you know who Alvin Mack is?
Again, know the name, but can't think of who.
He is plain and simple, my favorite player ever from a sports movie. He is the middle linebacker from the movie The Program. One of the best characters. He's the one that talks crap and destroys everyone, but he doesn't take his education seriously. And then somebody takes him out at the knee and he gets injured and he's done playing football and he ends up in the hospital like, I don't have anything now. Like he didn't try in school. He was going to be the first overall pick. Like he was the best player in college football. He was going to be the first pick overall, make tons of money. And then they took his knee. A player took his knee out, but he was just great because he would make up stuff and start yelling at the quarterback. And like, I remember one time he was telling the quarterback how he was going to make him his cellmate. And, I can't say the stuff that he said because it's later our movie. But man, that literally is my favorite character of any that actually played. The players, he's the best all time, in my opinion.
Never heard of that movie. I'll have to check that out.
You have to. Alvin Mack. And he's played in other, like he was in Necessary Roughness. He played the receiver that can't catch. And I think he was in another football movie. He played something else. But yeah, it's just crazy he's like one of those privileged, gets paid college players. People take the test for him. Greatest player in college. And then, man, his scenes are worth just looking up. His scenes where he's on the football field, it's awesome.
Okay, I'll have to remember that. All right, Mike, number 1 on your list.
Rocky Balboa. Yeah, Rocky. And that's the only reason Apollo Creed wasn't on. It was the last pick. I was going through trying to get my 5, picking 1 from every movie. And I was like, well, I got to go Rocky over. I think Apollo Creed's better in the movies they're both in. But then Rocky has Rocky Balboa, where he does the whole line to his son. And then he's in Creed as the manager. And I just think the overall of the movies, he gets put over the top. Otherwise, Apollo Creed's probably second. Like, I think Apollo, one of the greatest characters ever. He's just so good. And Carl Weathers, late great Carl Weathers, only he could have played, because you had to be an athlete and an actor to play that character the way he did. And it was incredible. So I'm bummed he didn't make the list, but I had to do it in a certain way. So Rocky's my number 1.
You know, I should have known better, but I was thinking about this all day, and I'm like, I feel like Mike might have Rudy on his top 5.
Rudy was 7th.
Okay. All right, Brendan, number 1 on your list, sir.
Like I said, we're all going to have the same. It's Rocky. Like, there's no way if you don't, Paul, like, there's going to be a whole conversation. But, like, it's Rocky.
I've never seen Rocky.
What?
Nope, never seen Rocky.
How? How is that a dude? He's 20, and he had him as his top.
Yeah, I don't know.
How have you not seen? Okay, first of all,
I've seen parts of it. Like, I've seen probably most of it, but I've just never seen it all.
The first 2 Rockies are 2 of the greatest movies ever made. Forget sports. Those movies the first 2 are not even about sports. They're beyond that. It becomes a sports movie from 3 all the way through the Creeds. There are more sports movies. You must watch the first 2 Rocky. If nothing else, the first 2 Rockies are just movies that are great. They're why Stallone is different than Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're what he can do that separates him from them. John McClane, Bruce Willis. You got to see the first 2 Rockies. I don't care if you watch them all, you should, but you must watch the first 2.
So should I wait till my son's older and watch this with him, or just watch them by myself?
Both. Watch them now, and you'll want to watch them again when you watch them with your son. Your list is kind of invalid. You don't have Rocky. Like your
Wow.
list
Okay.
I'm 43, he's 20, and we both have the same number 1. And Apollo Creed would
That's
probably
fair.
be number 2 on mine because I'm old.
You're gonna hate my number 1 though. It's Ricky Bobby Talladega Nights.
No, that's not wrong. I love Ricky Bobby. I think he was 9th in mine. Like he's elite, but my God, man, this list just turned. I don't even care about the list anymore. This is more egregious than Red Baron being on your top 5 pizzas. We have just leveled up. It is impossible that you have not seen Rocky, and there is no excuse for it. The person half our age has seen Rocky. I am.
Were those movies that you watched with your dad, Brendan? Did your dad like make a point to watch those with you?
Dude, my dad just made me watch everything 80s. He has a good reason. I drive an old truck.
You now have a son.
My dad never watched Rocky.
That your son will need to see Rocky, period.
Well, he will.
Watch Rocky.
Wait, do you not listen to Eye of the Tiger at all?
Of course. I mean, every time I hear that song, I think of Rocky. Like I said, I've seen parts of the movie. I've just never seen it from beginning to end.
Have you seen the Creed movies?
I saw the first Creed.
But it didn't how did it hit? Like it couldn't have been the same.
It didn't. It didn't hit. I mean, it was like this is a good movie, but it wasn't it didn't mean as much to me as probably you or Brendan did.
Look, skip the 5th Rocky, but watch 1 through 4, 6. And then if you want to watch the Creed, the first Creed is good if you watched the other Rockies because they do more of the relationship. It's not just about the fighting. They kind of make it like the first 2 Rockies, but you got to watch the first 2 Rockies.
Is Rocky 5 where he does the street fight?
Yeah, Rocky 5 is not very good. I love Rocky movies, but 5 is not. 5 you can skip. It's not great.
Is 3 with Mr. T and 4 with Hulk Hogan, or am I?
3 is Mr. T and Hulk Hogan. 4 is Ivan Drago.
I thought that was 2.
That's another you can't watch Creed 2 because you'll be like, okay, who's this guy? And Creed 2 is Ivan Drago's son, is who Adonis Creed fights. These aren't just sports movies, though. I'm telling you, the first 3, 4, 6, and the Creeds are sports movies. The first 2 Rockies are just absolutely special, great movies that are also boxing movies, but they're great movies.
Well, I will definitely add that to the list. I'm trying to watch more movies that I haven't seen, so I've got a nice little list on Hulu right now. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's next on the list. So
that's a wild movie. I watched it on the plane.
That's a great movie. You could skip it for Rocky. Watch it at some point because Tarantino is one of the greatest ever. But
there's some classics that I need to watch.
Rocky to the front.
Is Rocky streaming anywhere? Do you know, Mike?
I think Paramount should have it. I'm gonna check right now because I want you to watch it. But you get in the show. It's good. I'm CD Piglet. Letter C, letter D Piglet.
Mike is as irritated as ever. Brendan, I'm sure you might hate me too. But before I get banned from the show, where can we find you on not Twitter?
Honestly, it's fine. It's the first time I'm gonna be the one who's not getting bullied. It feels nice. You can find me at Brendan_Smith26.
It's on everything. Max, HBO Max has it, Hulu has it, and Prime has it for free.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and I might see you guys next week.
Bully him. Get online, Paul_Ryan15.